Hello and welcome to the 110th episode. Yeah, of Redeeming the Time. I'm your host, Jake Wells. This is my dad, my co-host, Keith Ewan Wells. And
Does that start with an E?
Ewan McGregor. It's E-W-A-N.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hey, I just called you Ewan. Obi-Wan.
Why, hello there.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode. If you would like to contact the show, you can contact us in the comments or...
Yeah, we've had a lot of comments lately. That's good.
Or redeemingthetimepod@gmail.com. So
Over 2 years now.
I was just thinking about that because
Yeah,
in my
me
head
too.
I was like, oh, it's been a year. I was like, wait a second.
This is our 3rd January.
This
Yeah.
is...
Well, we're in February now.
Was it last year? You were in a... That wasn't last year. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So right when we started the pod?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the stress of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we didn't say what actually happened. You had open heart surgery. That's what we're referencing.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
2 years ago at this time, you were recovering. We were doing it out of the humble abode. So, I got a question for you. I was listening to a podcast, and it's a dad podcast.
Okay.
They were talking about their...
I haven't heard these yet, so
It's just one.
He's throwing this at me. This is worthy of starting our 110th.
I think it's funny.
Okay.
I want to know the answer.
Oh.
I've never heard this answer. So
From
they
me
were
or
talking
in
about
general?
from you.
Oh, okay.
Specific. It's. They were talking about their relationship with their son, and their sons are getting older and more athletic, and like starting to become like they're starting to understand sports and like being able to do things. Because like as a kid, I mean, there's some kids that are pretty athletic, but most of the time, the dad, even if he's not good at sports, like can dominate, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So when was it when you realized, or what was the thought or anything when you realized that I could beat you in basketball?
Oh, when?
Or what was the process like?
Oh, that wasn't gonna... I was never good at basketball. I understand all the fundamentals of basketball.
You taught me basketball.
I know how it's supposed to work. My body just never would do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the coordination. Never learned how to dribble well with my left hand, thus making you put your right hand behind your back and dribble all that time. Now you dominate with your left.
Forever be grateful for that.
Yeah. It's your dominant hand when you dribble. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just gave up.
It's fine.
Your secret. Yeah, I mean, it was probably, I would say probably junior high.
That's when I felt like I really turned the corner on basketball.
Yeah, I was just never that good with it.
What were you thinking? Because you were obviously thinking about something else when I was setting that up. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just, when you were... You've heard your mom and I say when you were playing.
Yeah, I played soccer with Emily.
Little kids soccer, and
we told this on here.
No, I don't know this.
You thought I would never play a sport in my life.
Oh man, my kid doesn't like sports. He doesn't have any drive for it. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have one of those boys that doesn't like sports, and. I'm sort of settling in, like, okay, well, you can watch sports with me, or, something like that. You're laying on the ground.
I would pick dandelions in the middle of a soccer field.
You'd be walking over. We're like, no, you got to go. You got to finish playing. And you wouldn't do it. You're like, no, you were done. You were being...
That was soccer.
You were really young. You should have... It was earlier than you should have played. It's just because Emily was playing, too.
Tell the story of T-ball.
Yeah, So his first T-ball...
Playing with the Y or something.
We were playing at the Y, which is, at the time, was horribly organized. And...
This is at the like
I don't even know
where the ball was hit and everyone ran after the ball.
So it was sort of like soccer, it was this wherever the ball is, that's where 90% of the kids are. And you're crying because sweat's rolling in your eyes on first base.
No, it was third base. The third base, and the sun was coming up from the east, obviously, and it was the same time every week. And so the sun was in my eyes. I was already sweating profusely as a little kid. I guess I've always sweat a lot. And it was getting in my eyes because the sun is just baking me.
You hated it.
I did not like it at all.
You hated it and didn't want to play and didn't want to finish. And, one of the key things of sports for us was, if you start something, you finish. And to me, that's one of the greatest principles you can teach your kid during a sports thing. Even if they're horrible at sports, at least finish what you start, type of thing. And, that was – I don't know when it clicked.
Second grade is when I joined the Angels.
When your buddies were playing as well.
Yeah, with Paul B. and Paul
B
Anderson.
wasn't there at first. He came in. We needed another player, and he came in later in the season.
The first year was not. The third grade is really when I started enjoying because Lorenz and all them started playing.
Yeah, his buddy. He's had the same core group of guys that he's hung out with since first or second grade. They're still friends. They're in each other's weddings. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. They're all good guys, and
some of them were on different teams, but then eventually
they got smart and moved over. That's how you met Joe Snyder, who attends here.
Joe started in fourth grade.
His sweetie just got baptized today.
Any other sport where you were like you held on? At least, because
baseball.
One of the dads was like, okay, he's beating me at this game, but like I got him in this one.
Oh yeah, baseball wasn't till I would say high school on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could
strike me out.
I don't know about that.
No, the funniest thing.
I taught you how to. I taught you.
Yeah.
No, is that right?
No, Mr. Lane taught me that one.
You might have taught me that.
The one pitch that's not a curveball, but it acts like curveball.
Your changeup.
Oh, you taught me the changeup. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll call out Mom. I guess it's both of you. I was a terrible hitter for the first 3 years of baseball. Yeah, second, third, and fourth. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I couldn't see the ball. I needed glasses, and I didn't. I would just, in class, I would be in the back of the class, and it was just like, oh, this is normal. I just got to squint like everybody's doing that. No, my eyes were terrible. I knew
how wonderful sight is.
I knew what exit signs look like, but I could never actually read them from afar off.
Oh, my word.
So I was always just, okay, this is just normal life. So it was like, your eyes are terrible.
We're wonderful parents.
And so I started wearing glasses, and all of a sudden I was like, I started hitting it better, and it was because I needed glasses. I could actually see the ball rotating instead of just a blob coming at me.
Oh, that's funny.
That was good.
So, golf, you've had me from the very beginning.
Well, thanks to your dad.
Yeah, I've
called me Tiger.
I've never
got me in all those clubs.
Is that because he forgot your name?
Maybe.
My dad had this where.
Everybody has one.
Yeah. You know how you got the nickname for a person you really don't remember their name?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to share mine because I don't want to give that away. But my dad would call people Tiger. And if he called you Tiger,
he doesn't know your name.
He knows might know who you are, but he doesn't know your name. He doesn't
want to offend you. Yeah.
Yeah, he would.
Hey, Tiger.
That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, golf. I would never have liked golf unless it was for Papaw.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have, but he definitely got me into that.
Yeah.
What about pickleball?
What about it?
Have you ever thought you could take me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Consistently? No.
I feel like, baseball and basketball were the ones that really stuck out. Those were the ones that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start playing tennis until senior year.
Yeah, I played it through high school, so I at least had like racquetball. I still condone you on that.
I really want to play racquetball. Racquetball is so much fun.
We want to play paddle or paddle or however you say it.
Oh my gosh!
Once I started,
It's like pickleball and racquetball together.
I started watching reels on it, and now it all pops up all the time. So have we talked about this before?
I don't know, but
yeah. So it's on a pretty much
it's a pickleball court basically.
Pickleball court, but the lines are a little different. It's set up more like tennis, and it's all in a cage. The back wall, the side walls and the back wall are solid. They go up about 10 feet.
Yeah.
And the middle of the back has like a chain or something. I'm not sure what's going on. So when you hit the ball over, it has to hit the ground before it hits a back wall or a side wall.
On their side.
On their side. You can hit your wall, so you could hit it off the back wall and
side wall.
Like racquetball and hit it over. And man,
the angles are crazy.
It was how pickleball is here. That was the rave in Europe, and now it's sort of going down a little bit.
Europe and South America, the best players are Argentinian.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Messi.
Yeah. It's a.
I want to play it. It looks like fun.
There's a guy named LeBron who plays.
Of course there is.
Yeah, he's a white guy. It's kind of funny. He plays with it.
All right. Well, that was
I just thought that was funny, like, because I never thought about that, and now that I'm having kids,
your day will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, your day will come.
I mean, if she plays soccer, she's gonna. If May plays soccer,
it'll come that too for Callie then, because might be.
Yeah.
Callie was on a state championship team.
National championship.
National championship?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So she knows how to play.
Yep.
But eventually your body stops being able to do.
So for those parents out there that have teens or kids that are getting better than, I want to hear those stories. I want to hear like Josh, for me, I go to Josh Mason. I know he's listening too. Like, has he seen glimpses of his boys? Like, oh, they actually won that point fair and square. Like, I tried my hardest, and they still beat me in that one. But I mean, he's still beating them in everything right now, I think. But,
well, he's got a foot and a half taller than them. Yeah.
But there's gonna come a day where. Where those boys are going to be as tall as him.
And Sam will talk smack. I don't know if the other two of them. Sam will talk smack.
Yeah, that would be fun. So.
Oh, good deal. All right, we are in Revelation chapter 17, and wow, this is where things start coming together from past chapters, and this is a crazy chapter. This is one of the most widest divide type chapters of what is what. So we're going to give our opinion and try not to go too deep beyond that, but there's a lot here. So we're going to talk about Mystery Babylon today, and let's read verses 1 and 2.
And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, John here, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Okay, well, let's go on, because we got to identify who this is.
So he just tell me when to stop. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So the same beast that was in 13, I think.
Wow. Okay, maybe. We'll get to that.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
All right. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot in there. There's some identification things that have to be done here, and I'm just going to give you some things that I think. Let me first read Schofield has an excellent note on this when he talks about Babylon. He says 2 Babylons are to be distinguished in the Revelation. Ecclesiastical Babylon, that would be like religious Babylon, which is apostate Christendom, meaning a false religion Christendom, headed up by the papacy. So he believes that this is the Roman Catholic Church. And a political Babylon, so a spiritual or ecclesiastical Babylon, religious one, and a political Babylon, which is the beast's confederated empire, the last form of Gentile world domination. Ecclesiastical Babylon is the great whore, and is destroyed by political Babylon, which we're going to read about. That the beast may be the alone object of worship. The power of political Babylon is destroyed by the return of the Lord of glory at Armageddon. The notion of a literal Babylon to be rebuilt on the site of ancient Babylon is in conflict with Isaiah 13. But the language of Revelation 18 seems beyond question to identify Babylon, the city of luxury and traffic, with Babylon, the ecclesiastical center, Rome. The very kings who hated ecclesiastical Babylon deplore the destruction of commercial Babylon. Okay, so I wanted to put that. I thought that was a great summary of some things there. So as we look at this, who's the woman? She's called the Great Whore. Not language we use often, but that's what the Word of God, because that's the degree of how degraded and sinful she is.
What do you think? Who do you think it is?
We'll get to that. I'm going to get to that in verse 5.
Wait, you just asked the question.
I know. So there's more detail given here than there are in other places. I think that's important to note in comparison. And like I mentioned at the end of last week, John's going to now use this and compare. There's going to be this comparison with the bride of the Lamb later on. So what is a whore or a prostitute? Is someone that's, a prostitute is someone that's hired out, and there's no relationship there. A whore has another degree to that, meaning not faithful to one man. So the comparison then will be to the bride of the Lamb, only faithful to the Lamb of God.
Yeah.
All right? So we've got this type of comparison. This is pretty common in the Old Testament. If you go to Isaiah 23, verse 17, Nahum, there's this a lot of times, as you remember when we were going through the Word of God, it was this comparison to Jerusalem when they went a-whoring after false gods.
I mean, Hosea that's the entire thing.
Yeah. So then it describes that she's on many waters. So a lot of this is going to be not interpreted, it's just going to be flat told what it is later on in the chapters. So we'll talk about that when it comes up.
Yep.
Now, I also think if you compare this to chapter 18, which we'll get to, a lot of what's going on here, the connection upon many waters, they're trade routes and things of that nature, because it's all money in chapter 18, and how the demise of the flow of money. I mean, you mess with people's money, they're getting mad.
Yeah.
All right. And this is sort of a play off of the term Babylon. I think deals to a world structure, but I think is also a play off of what Babylon was. Babylon was on, the body of water. There are all kinds of tributaries that came out of Babylon.
Euphrates, yeah.
Yeah. So I think
it's the opposite of Jerusalem, is
yes.
how I've been
coming
to understand it when it's being talked about. Which Jerusalem is called the great city in terms of, like, it's supposed to be the center where God dwells.
Right.
And the opposite of that is Babylon in different aspects as well, like spiritual, all that stuff. So,
okay.
So
Verse 2.
What's happening here, though? This one of the angels comes and takes
One of the angels from the 7 vials that just finished up in chapter 16.
The angel says, "Hey, come with me, and I'm going to show you in more detail what's going to happen here with the."
Or what?
With the political and the political schemes of the Antichrist and the religious schemes that are going to happen that we read about in the 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, this is interesting. I didn't even think about explaining this part until just now. We just finished the Battle of Armageddon.
Yeah.
So now this is almost like we've hit the reverse button.
Yeah, we have.
And now we're going back to the beginning again. Yeah, so
the beginning of the tribulation.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So we've got we're going. So think about that. So John's sitting there, and he's here, and then he's here, and then he's here in the timeline.
Armageddon, seeing the 7 vials being poured out, and
the battle coming together,
the great day of the Lord, and then he comes back, and now here's the nitty gritty of how this is going to happen.
That is weird. If you're a we always do this. People have to hate us for this. But if you watched did you watch the Loki series?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're basically showing his life, and he's fast forwarding, he goes back and back, and he's that kind of thing going on here.
But there's a lot more detail in this.
Yes, each time we get more detail. So verse 2, it says the kings have committed. So these kings of the world are committing fornication, and it uses the word drunk with wine there. Drunk with the wine of her fornication. We've used this term several times with the wine. This is religious in nature, and it's symbolizing a religion that is unfaithful to God. Like I said, 18 is going to talk about the material side of this. This talks about the religious side of it and how the fornication is, not faithful to God. So this is a religious experience. All this is adding up, so please keep that in mind. A religious experience that is unfaithful to God. Okay, so now we get to explaining this woman that he sees.
Yeah, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. What better place to show? We don't have to get into that. Okay. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Yeah.
So this beast.
Yeah. So if you go back to Revelation 13, verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon the heads the name of blasphemy. So this is the beast. This is the Antichrist that we met. And did I take your thunder there?
No.
Okay.
I said it earlier. And you
said,
I wouldn't. Wait.
We weren't there. All right.
So is there significance of her being on the beast?
I think so.
Because it says she's sitting on she's upon the scarlet-colored beast.
Yeah.
So
if you're sitting on top of a horse, or you're sitting on top of a donkey, you're
not running 40 miles per hour. You're using the horse to go 40 miles per hour.
So there's this. I think the meaning of this, she's controlling the animal. She's on the beast. She's controlling, or at least she thinks she is controlling the animal.
That's
That's
because the horse can get off of me if it wanted to.
Well, we're gonna find out. Yeah. So this is this unholy combination that we have seen, religion and politics, specifically who I believe the great whore is.
You're just really teasing this, aren't you?
I'm pulling it along. All right. This unholy combination of religion and politics, and we'll see it eventually destroys the woman. It looks there. She's dressed in the most expensive clothes. She has jewels around her. All of those types of things.
Well, it's called abominations and filthiness. Yeah. It looks good, but it's rooted in terrible.
Exactly. And so on her name, on her forehead, it's always on the forehead, in all caps, mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All in caps. Which is interesting because when the Lord returns, it's all in caps, and in the opposite direction here.
Mm-hmm.
So who is this? Who is she?
Go ahead.
You want to go?
Nope.
All right. So there's four possibilities. I'm going to do like a summary at the end of this, if that's okay. I've preached through this before, and I've got sort of a summary. And if it's okay, we'll go through, and then I'll go back and do that. But so I'll give you four things that folks believe. There's probably more than that, but some people believe it's actually Babylon in Iraq.
What is Babylon? Is there a current city?
So it's Saddam Hussein was rebuilding part of it in the south of Baghdad, and when he was in power, and
is that where it was?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, all I know, they say they dug up things, so it must have been at least in that region. It was such a large city. So yeah, I guess that is. I apologize for not knowing that, but during the Iraq conflict, what was the name of it? No, during the Iran-Iraq conflict, he paused some of that, and then when we went, he was taken out at that point. Some people thought the reviving, well, let me put it this way. There are people that think that's just crazy, that you could take that city and let it rise again. But my notes that I had here, some people thought it was crazy that Jerusalem would rise again too after it was destroyed by Titus in 70 AD. But yet we have Jerusalem today.
Yeah.
So that can occur. I don't believe it is that, but nonetheless. Second, some people think it's actually Jerusalem. If you compare that to just a chapter ago, verse 19. I think there's no way it's that.
I know I read something of someone that believes that, and the reasoning didn't make sense to me.
That doesn't jive with verse 19 of chapter 16. Some believe it's some world secularized religion of the day, and then the fourth, the one that's.
What do you go back? What did you say there?
Some world secularized religion of whatever the time
like
of
humanism,
this.
Something like that.
I don't know. Just different views on that. That I read a few of them. None of it really
hit you.
Stuck with my brain.
All right, now the fourth one, the one that you believe.
Yeah. So it's in Rome. The seven hills there, it mentions all the different things. You go into verse 6, and I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. It talks about the filthiness, the amount of wealth. If you go today, we went through when we did the Footsteps of Paul. You go through the museum at the Vatican, and it is drunk with the wine of the riches of this world, and there's a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
So I believe it is Rome, and I believe it is the Roman Catholic Church, and we'll explain that more. Please hear me if you're listening or watching this. I'm not saying it is the individual people that are part of that church. I know a lot of good people. I have neighbors. I have friends that are, but the institution itself will talk about what it has done and what it will do. And I'll add to that too when I do this overview. I don't believe this started with them. I believe this is a continuation. So the whole some secularized religion of the day could tie in with this because it has become something over time. It has pulled in things from Babylon, literal Babylon, and it has pulled them into the religion and will continue. We'll talk about that in a minute. It says mystery Babylon. Anytime you read mystery in the Bible, it's not a puzzle that needs to be solved. That's not what mystery means. rather when the person uses the word mystery, it's a revealing of something that was unknown until a point that God wanted us to know. So it was a mystery in that fact. It wasn't like I have to, I've got to go be national treasures and hunt clue after clue to get it. No, it's finally God will finally reveal it. But that's the situation. So let's talk about a couple of things. Go ahead.
I think something I read kind of drew the comparison of Babylon being the city of
Rome,
like the great cities that were called the Jerusalem was a great city. Babylon was the great city, and they were opposed to. They were in opposition of each other. In John's day, Babylon was not that.
Right.
Rome was that.
Correct.
And so, some people with the third point, some people think it's not Rome. Some people think it's the epitome of being drunk with the wine of all that stuff. I've seen some people say New York, Los Angeles. I mean,
America.
Some other, just living life luxuriously in their minds, but really it's an abomination and filthiness.
Would that have been London in the 1800s or 1700s?
Someone said,
you could go that direction if you went there. We don't know, obviously, but I believe as we go on, I think it still points to Rome.
Yeah.
Because this is written in where he's speaking of the future.
Yeah.
Does he mention some things of that day? Probably, but I think it is speaking to the future. So I think that's an important distinction there.
Yeah.
Because this actually, verses 6 through 8 now show us why.
Yeah, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration, or I marveled at it. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is.
Okay. All right, so this is cool stuff because I hate to say that. It's interesting because it ties in a lot of the stuff that we've already read here. So we've got this was and is not and yet is. So what in the world, what is that talking about? This is almost like once again we go back to the great deceiver in Satan setting up this mockery or parody of what Christ and God the Father have truly done. This was and is not and yet is. We have a similar, who was and is to come. So Satan aspiring to be deity, I think this is sort of a mockery on that.
Yeah.
So we just read that. If you go back to chapter 11 now, chapter 11, verse 7, we see this similar thing. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the 2 witnesses, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. All right? So, and then go to chapter 13. We're going to read verses 1, 3, and 14. And we read this one already. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Now verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. All right, verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast, which had which had the wound by a sword and did live. All right, so we've got some things coming together here. All right, this beast, all right, makes war against the two witnesses. So that's and when he's injured, that is he was and is not. All right, he was wounded and yet is. So he has this imitation again of the resurrection from this mortal wound that we saw in verse 14, which will then, the image of the beast, which will trigger worldwide worship of the beast that's talking here. We're leaving the lady behind, the great whore behind for a minute. We're talking about the beast.
Yeah.
And so the non-Christian world, as we see here in verse 8 of chapter 17, where we're at today, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder. And they're all going to... Huh?
Or marvel.
Or yeah. They're just going to... They're easily going to be persuaded by this whole imitation of what's going on. And they'll start to worship the beast. This is a turning point.
Yeah.
This is a turning point for what's going to happen to the one that was the great whore that was riding on this beast, thinking she's in control. Now we're going to see a big shift. But never fear, because it says there at the end of that verse, or at the middle of the verse, that he'll go into perdition, and it says that twice. In verse 11, it'll say the same thing. So, anything else you want to add there?
Yeah. So the great whore is riding the worship of the Antichrist, of the beast, right?
I don't think so. I think once that worship comes, there's going to be a turning point.
So that's the turn. So up until that point, she's riding.
So I think she's riding on popularity of him, his power, thinking she's in control and gaining power over other nations, which we'll talk. I'm going to summarize this in a little bit. But then
the beast is just using her.
I think he's a user, because what we're going to see in the next few chapters is he uses the church of the Roman Catholic Church and then disposes of her, and then he's going to use Jerusalem, and once he gains control in that area, and then he's going to turn on them as well.
Okay. So they're just tools in what he's trying,
exactly.
what the beast is trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
But she's riding, thinking that she's in control.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
All right.
Verses 9 through 11.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains.
Okay.
On which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition.
Okay.
So verse 9.
Yeah. All right. So we have here, God says we need wisdom to understand this. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. All right. So the great whore sitting on the 7 mountains. There's all kinds of, once again, it's this, I believe Rome it's the city of 7 hills, not 7 mountains. Some people that's the issue, that people think that this isn't the Roman Catholic Church. I do think this is a way of John not calling out Rome while he's alive, but using...
You think so?
Everybody knows it's Rome. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I didn't do the research, but is there any other city or any other place that has 7
some people think
mountains or hills?
Yeah, they've got all kinds of different thoughts on that.
Because Rome was called the city with whatever
of
7 hills.
Just like Cincinnati's called the city of 7 hills as well.
So Cincinnati is the city we're talking about.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. But there'll be skyline in heaven. So I don't know what that has to do with anything. So verse 10. All right. And
what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
I don't know. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen. 1 is, and another is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue for a short space. So All right, so we have Rome as one of these empires, and then when it talks about these 7 kings, there's a lot of thoughts here as well. Some people think it's different kingdoms. That one makes that makes a lot of sense, because then you'd have 5 that have already been. You've got the Egyptian, Assyrian, Babylon, Medo-Persians, Greek, the ones that were spelled out in Daniel. That's 5 past. The current one, which was Rome, it's at the time of writing.
Yeah.
And then the one of the Antichrist would be the 7th. He dies,
And he
comes back. He's the 8th.
Mm.
I don't know, but that's what. I don't think that matters a whole bunch, but that's my interpretation of that.
So this is where it's,
Hopefully we're not confusing folks. We're just yakking with this.
this is where Guzik inserted different things that pointed toward Rome for me.
Okay, I didn't study him for this.
The one, like you were saying, the one world religion coming into Roman. He gave a few tendencies, he calls it, for the Roman Catholic Church, or different instances where that was shown a little bit, of inviting all the religions into a prayer meeting, no matter who your God was, and that type of thing.
Sure, yeah.
So that's when it really hit me, where this makes the most sense to me, because John Paul II, he was the one that said, hey, let's get together, Buddhist, everybody, every religion, and we're going to pray.
Who are you praying to?
Every person in that room is praying to maybe most likely a different God or a different deity in their mind. Yeah. And that's not...
I realize it's anecdotal, but I mean, just from my own experience in life, you know, I've gone to 2 different spots in Brazil where spiritism of the tribes was just pulled into the religion, so that then they could have control over the people that are in the area. If you go down to Haiti, there are areas where voodoo has been drawn in. I mean, that's a pretty common thing throughout the world that occurs. It doesn't happen in the United States as much, I think, because of the religious background of our country. But if it could, if it was needed, it would.
Yeah.
I have no fear of that. I have no doubt of that, I would say. So that's my thinking on verse 11. I don't think that is a major detail. It is a major detail, but I don't think we can't know for sure, but that looks what that is. And then the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. So these are future kings, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right. So, go ahead.
Is this the political part?
I believe so. These are, this is the sort of one world government type mentality where they gain power from the beast, yet they give it to him. And, there's a tendency, people want that. We fight as Americans, well, some of Americans do, fight against trying to keep the sovereignty of our nation. Yet we have entire political parties and groups of people that don't want that. We have Supreme Court justices in the last decade that have quoting international law in their arguments, which that's not our laws as a country. So there's this tendency of wanting that. I have one quote from a gentleman. Gideon Rockman said, I have never believed that there is a secret United Nations plot to take over the U.S. I have never seen black helicopters hovering in the sky above Montana. But for the first time in my life, I think the formation of some sort of world government is plausible. Now, he is a leading brain in this type of thing, not just some random dude talking. A world government would involve much more than cooperation between nations. It would be an entity with state-like characteristics, backed by a body of laws. The European Union has already set up a continental government for 27 countries, which could be a model of something larger. The EU has a Supreme Court, a currency, thousands of pages of law, a large civil service, and the ability to deploy military force. So that's what we're seeing.
The only thing that sticks out to me is the number. Is the 10 a symbolic number? Because it says 10 kings.
I don't think so. I just think it's 10.
So it's the thought of the European Union being these 10 kings in this one mind that's being able to give power to the Antichrist. There's 27 countries. Like at the time, when it first started, there were 6 countries, and now there's 27, and it's ever growing. So could that be...
Oh, some 10 smaller countries there?
The leading 10? The big countries in Europe? Or...
Yeah, not Liechtenstein.
Yeah, it's smaller than most cities. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either. But.
Go ahead.
All right. So now verses 15 through 18. So this shows the demise of the great whore. And this will sort of circle this around, and I'll go back and recap this, because I think we've gotten off track a little bit, and hopefully this isn't too confusing.
What verses?
15 through 18.
And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Okay, so this is where the turn occurs. This is where
these 10 kings,
they're going to turn.
They help the Antichrist turn on the great whore.
So if you study European history at all, I mean, over the centuries, the Catholic Church has turned and manipulated and used and gained power and wealth by controlling these different nations. You had a loss of power there during when King Henry VIII, decides he wants a divorce, and they won't give him the divorce, so he's like, fine, start the Church of England. Boom, there's a loss of power of this portion of their control. The Reformation occurs, and now the Protestant Reformation occurs. There's always been, small groups of faithful believers that we would consider as Baptists, our forefathers that have always been there. But this is like the complete turning point now, where they completely turn on the Catholic Church, and they just devour it, all of its resources, all of its control.
Political, destroying the religious part of it.
Yeah,
right?
Because now they're worshiping the beast.
So but he uses the political side to defeat.
I think he uses
great horror, which is
I think he uses
religious.
the religious side to gain the political power,
which then turns on it.
No,
help me understand this.
Okay,
well, who are the 10 kings?
There's this group of kings in the European Union, all right? So he's turned, he's wounded, he rises up now. Now the people want to worship him. He can turn on the Catholic Church, because no one's worshiping there anymore, and they gobble it up.
Okay, so in my head, he uses the great horror to gain power of the political side, the 10 kings, which I view as the political in my head. I'm just trying to make sense of it, and hopefully.
Okay, so let me do a summary of this now.
And then he turns on what got him the power, or what.
Yes.
What helped him get to that point? Is that?
Yes.
Is that right?
I believe so. Well, I believe that's what you're saying. So how does he get this power? The power is given, taken, and used from the Catholic Church. So this beast that comes out of the sea that we read here, there's other verses, that he came from some, little European country there. The newly formed European Confederacy of these 10 nations soon will be given to the beast for their control with the help of the Roman Catholic Church. So look at verses 1 through 7. So verse 9 tells us the 7 heads represent the 7 mountains. Verse 15 tells us the waters represent the people. Verse 18 indicates that it's Rome as well. So this apostate religious system that I would say dates back to Constantine. And if you remember, Constantine, on the eve of his crucial battle, we talked about that when we were doing some church history stuff, he sees that fiery cross in a dream that says, in this cross conquer. And he made the cross the symbol, and he wins the battle, and he begins to recognize Christianity as main religion. It eventually becomes the state religion.
It just doesn't persecute him at first.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. But so the church at this point starts to get its first, the church I'm putting in parentheses, gets the first taste of secular power. And we're going to see Rome has always wanted that. At times, Rome's ruled nations with an iron fist. Other times, it's been with careful diplomacy. I mean, down to the fact, your mom and I were talking about this the other day. I mean, South America, Central and South America have the languages they have because the Pope controlled where Portugal and where Spain were allowed to go conquer the New World. I mean, that kind of power. The historian writes it this way: in Rome, in the minority is a lamb. In equality is a fox. In power is a tiger. And I believe right now that she's just waiting right now, using, as you mentioned, ecumenical type things to attract other religions, liberal Protestant churches, consuming pagan religions like voodoo and spiritism, and eventually she'll embrace most other religions. And the church and the state, as we read here, will wed out of convenience once again, each thinking the other can be used to gain control, but she's going to underestimate the beast. All right? I'll give you some examples. And if you go into, where is that? If you go into Fontainebleau, the mansion there that was one of Napoleon's homes, in 1804, there's this giant painting of this. In 1804, during the French Revolution, Napoleon invites the Pope Pius the Seventh, to Paris to preside over his coronation. All right? And just as Pius is about ready to place the crown on Napoleon's head, he grabs the crown out of, this is the comparison of what we see here. He grabs the crown out of Pius's hands and places it on his own head, showing that he had power over the church. And this is a similar type thing that we're going to see. Notice a couple things. Let's go through this again. Verse 4, great wealth. The Catholic Church is worth well over $70 billion. And those are old numbers. Has the most real estate of anyone in the world.
I talked about Catholicism in Sunday school today, and so I went on the Archdiocese of Cincinnati just to look at how many schools and churches there are, like who our archbishop is or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like almost 100 in Cincinnati.
Back in the, I don't have a current number.
That's just church. That's just parishes. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Back in the 90s, they owned $34 billion worth of real estate just in the United States. That was 90s numbers. So who knows what that is now.
And like we've talked about before, that's just the United States. Like in the random village in Peru, where they did the woodworking.
Yeah.
That entire town was
Owned by them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
they controlled those people.
Yeah,
They monopolized it to where if they tried to go out on their own, they would be blackballed and could not find a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go into the villages along the Amazon, there is a Catholic church in the middle. There's a row of houses on both sides. Once a year, the priest comes in. He takes 30% of their income. He marries anyone that needs married, buries anyone needs buried, and they don't see him again for another year. All right? So, yeah. So continuing on. Notice the name given to Mystery Babylon again in verse 5. So this adulterous system has become what we're seeing here. So go back. This dates way back before Constantine. This is the stuff I was wanting to tell you before. This goes, in fact, I believe this goes right after the ark. You have Noah's 16 grandsons, and one of them, if you go back to the book of Genesis, is Nimrod. The whole Tower of Babel situation. He builds this. He teaches men to throw off their fear of God, and upon his death, history tells us he was deified and starts to be worshipped under different names. Religious systems from Egypt and Greece all stem from Babylon. The chief, now here, this is an important thing. The chief priest of Babylon was known as Pontifex Maximus. And the Babylonians taught that Nimrod had reappeared supernaturally born by his widow. And worship became of the mother and son, known as the Queen of Heaven. All right? So, see me going with this. So, Babylon...
Is it... Do you have the name that he came back as? Was it Nimrod or was it a different name?
I don't have it written down. I apologize. So Babylon, we know, gets captured by the Medes and the Persians, and the Babylonian religious headquarters was moved to, when the Medes and Persians take it over, they move the religious headquarters to Pergamus. And Attalus III bequeaths Pergamus to Rome when Rome conquers in 133 BC. And the Babylonian mysteries that have been taught from that point, they make their way to Rome. So what's Julius Caesar declare himself as? Pontifex Maximus. And it sticks. With Constantine's move of bringing the Christianity to the prime religion in the empire, the Babylonian mysteries start to become part of the church. Now, we talked about this in past weeks. Pagan temples become Christian churches. Pagan gods become saints in some areas. Festivals become Christian festivals. The Virgin Mary, which will take a couple hundred years, eventually becomes the Queen of Heaven. And so we see all these Babylonian trappings. Does everybody do this on purpose? No, but we see these Babylonian trappings start to come in. The worship of the mother, everything from absolution to celibacy of priests and all that kind of stuff. And then in 378 AD, the first pope, Damascus, he takes on the title Pontifex Maximus, Mystery Babylon. Rome wasn't the inventor of everything that we see there, but purveys this merchandise. Okay, so now watch this. So now the church of verse 6 that we just read about, that was drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, that's just killed all these saints, or that has killed over the years. I mean, you go into the Inquisitions, 10,000 people killed during that. Another 200,000 were tortured during that time. I mean, throughout history, this has been there. And just as Napoleon grabbed that crown, we see go to the end of the chapter now, verse 16 and 17. Just as Napoleon grabbed that crown from Pius's hands, so does the beast. And the Roman Catholic Church is turned over to the empire, or whatever it has become by that point. It might not be what it is today, but whatever it's become at that time, it's turned over to the empire, and she's hated and made desolate. Her riches are taken. She's made naked, as they say, openly disgraced. They eat her flesh. Property is consumed and burned with fire is the term there. So the beast can, at this time, gains control of the European alliance or the old Roman Empire in Europe. And if you go back all the way to when we were talking about Daniel's statue, Nebuchadnezzar's statue with the 10 toes, that's this empire. All right? So this is where all this ties together. That's this empire. And he gains control through Rome and then cuts Rome off. So he's a user. And these 10 kings give him power, and it ushers in this great idolatry that he's going to use. And that's the situation here. I've got some quotes here. France's General de Gaulle said of the European Union, he says, "Good luck to this federation without a federator, without someone to lead." And that's what we see. The beast has Europe, probably us as well, because of our connection due to economic control with the rest of the world. We just saw them. They just signed a treaty with India that took, what was it, 20 or 25 years? I think it was 20 years to come about. So the plan continues. The plot thickens. He used Rome, and now next he's going to use Israel, and we'll see that come about. Not next week. We'll see it the week after that. So that's a sort of a summary of that chapter, in my opinion. It makes sense?
Yeah, so what about, like, China, Japan? Like, it's always about Europe. There's so much, that's like half the world that's not being talked about.
I don't think it's all. I think it's about Israel and Europe.
Yeah. But
Rome, because Rome was in charge at the time. There we did speak about Russia and the Middle East with the bear. But yeah.
like Australia.
It's not mentioned. America's not mentioned for the most part.
I mean, at this time that John's writing, there's no, like, we don't really know America as in context of Europe, right?
Yeah, but we didn't know the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire either when Daniel was speaking, so.
No, I'm not saying, I'm just,
yeah.
I don't know.
So.
Because it does say the countries of the East. So with the Euphrates, the last
we
chapter.
Talked about, yeah.
Yeah.
They're building their armies up along the Euphrates. That's probably, and the size of that army would lend itself to think it's China or.
Yeah.
China.
All right. I got a joke from.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't chaos today. That's a lot. There's a lot in there.
I don't think you can. There's a lot to chew on. So
yeah, a lot to chew on.
I would eventually like to get a job cleaning mirrors. It's just something I could see myself doing. That's from Steve Chambers. So.
Thank you, Steve. That was good.
He's got some good ones.
Steve
sent them to me.
All right. I'm exhausted after that.
Yeah.
So,
just a little heads up on just something fun that we can end on, so we're not just doom and gloom of
the world coming to an end.
I'm about to have a meeting with my helpers of the new SWAT theme. It's called The Mystery. I think I've told you about this.
Uh-huh.
But for those of you, parents and anyone who wants to know, there's going to be a crime committed. And it's going to be one of the youth leaders. They're not actually going to do it. It's just like a...
Don't tell what it is.
Mystery.
Because I like what you're going to do.
And so, I'm not... I've put so much time in. I do not want to ruin it. And I can edit it and post anyway. But we're having a meeting of how to orchestrate this mystery of the crime and all this stuff. So I'm super excited. I'm jazzed up right now. So
this is good. I like what you're doing there. That'll be fun.
And we just played mini hockey for our
who's winning?
I think
they've got a medal count like the Olympics.
Nate was in third place after the first 2 weeks, but he's gotten 6 gold in the last 2 weeks. We're going into week 5 now, and I think he's winning now.
What's the name of his country?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. How about with the ladies?
It's Isle of Kyle. That's not the ladies.
Yeah.
Isle of Kyle,
Lonnie
Miketopia, Lonnie Land, Nigeria. Then the ladies, USA, United States of Abby.
That was clever.
Illyria, Ali, Caledonia, and Magnovia. They're pretty good.
So who's winning with the ladies?
I believe it's pretty close between. I think it's Ali or Abby right now. But the other two, Megan and Callie's teams are pretty. They're within striking distance. So.
Very good.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.